Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on another webinar. My name is Paul Leslie. I'm a content creator here at Zero Bounce. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you all doing? We have a lot of content to go over today, so we're going to get started in about 1 minute. Feel free to use the chat to your right. Let us know where you are joining us from. Today's topic, of course, is how to build an email list you can monetize, a question on everybody's mind. We have two very knowledgeable hosts who are going to be brought on in just a moment. Brian Minnick, who is the Chief Operating Officer at Zero Bounce, and our friend Matej. He is the Content Partnerships Manager with GetResponse, an email marketing and automation platform. I see we've got people from Fort Lauderdale, Chicago, Illinois, a couple from Wisconsin, New Jersey. Brian's about to join us. As I said, he's the Chief Operating Officer at Zero Bounce. He has more than 15 years of experience in tech. You can also connect with him there on LinkedIn. We have a QR code. He's very, very accessible and happy to contact or communicate with you all. And Matej, he is the Content Partnerships Manager at GetResponse. He manages relationship with content partners and develops new content initiatives that drive engagement and lead generation. Zero Bounce is the #1 email verifier for more than 350,000 clients. You're going to see some very well-known brands there to your right: Netflix, LinkedIn, Airbnb, Disney, and many of you all. So I'm going to bring in our two hosts, Matej, and again, feel free to ask any questions. We will do our best to get to them at the end.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Paul, for the introduction, and thank you for both of you for having me here on this webinar. Now, let's get started. So, the first question that you may want to ask yourself is, why do you want to build an email list? Well, building an email list has multiple benefits. First of all, email is owned media, which means that you own a direct channel to your audience. This is not the same as having Facebook followers or TikTok followers, because those platforms can change. So the algorithms can change, different new regulations can come up. You can even be banned from the platform just without a word. And with email marketing, this is not the case. With email marketing, you actually have a direct line of communication with your core audience. And this is major, especially nowadays that all the platforms are constantly changing. Email marketing also has an enormously high return on investment. From all the marketing channels, email marketing is probably the best performing in this regard. Email marketing also allows you to create targeted and personalized content. You can learn about the behavior, you can learn about the demographics of your subscribers, and then you can create and send targeted communications to different subsets of your subscriber list. You also have absolute control over your messages and timing. So if you have like a Black Friday sale coming up, you are in control how you are going to communicate that to your audience. You can build stronger relationships, and finally, you can also track the performance of your campaigns, and you can be really granular with your data tracking this way. Now, as you can also, this is some statistics that I found. Email marketing has 1 to 40 ROI, which means that for every dollar you spend on email marketing, you can get $40 back. In comparison, for example, doing search ads or keyword ads has an ROI of 17. So as you can see, on average. So as you can see, email marketing like stands tall in all of these marketing channels. Now that we established that building an email list is super important for your business, you may be asking the question, why can't I just buy an email list? Well, you shouldn't. And the reason behind this is that buying an email list or scraping an email list or otherwise acquiring an email list that is not built organically and doesn't consist of people who actually want to hear about you is going to carry legal risks, because some countries actually have penalties. I mean, most countries actually have penalties for cold emailing or spamming. Bots or scraped email lists also have super low engagement rates and really high unsubscribe rates. So this means that the people who you are emailing are not really going to care about what you have to say. They are going to report your emails as spam, and all of this is going to hurt your deliverability on the long run. So if you are buying an email list, and then you are sending out emails to both email lists, and then you are also building an email list organically, your organic subscribers are also not going to receive your emails because your overall deliverability will go down because you used purchased email lists as well. So it's going to hurt your reputation. It's going to get you in legal hot water. It's going to hurt your deliverability, and you are just going to reach people who are not really interested in what you have to say. So yeah, pro tip, don't do it. Instead, start building your own list. Now, how do you build your email list? Email list building have 5 key pillars. One, and the most important one, is to provide value. So if someone subscribes to your email list, it's for one reason, because they expect to get something of value from you. So you have to be consistent in providing value to your audience through your newsletters. The second pillar is what I mentioned earlier, getting permission. Third pillar is knowing your audience. You have to know what your audience wants, what your audience needs, what your audience is like, to craft messaging and content that really resonates with them. You also need to be transparent in your communications. You are building trust on the long term. And this transparency means that you should also always allow your subscribers a way out. So if they want to subscribe to your email list, but they want to opt out, they want to unsubscribe, they want to change their preferences, you should let them. Because on the long run, it's going to do more damage than good to keep people who are uninterested on your email list. And the final pillar is thinking long term. This means that building an email list is a process. It's not really a destination. You have to be strategic about it. You have to allocate time and resources into it, but at the end, it's all going to pay off. So how can you start building your email list? One way that we found to be super effective and get response is using lead magnets. Lead magnet is basically some kind of incentive that you offer to your audience in exchange for their email addresses or in exchange for them to sign up to your email list. This can be anything that they value. So it can be access to exclusive newsletter content. It can be a really cool ebook that you just wrote. It could be some kind of white paper, checklist, personal study. It can be a live or an on-demand webinar. If we look at the larger picture, this webinar itself is a type of lead magnet. We are using this webinar to reach people who are interested in building email lists. And down the line, maybe some of you will consider trying out zero bounce or get response. So webinars can also be great lead magnets. You can create free courses, you can create quizzes, you can offer like a free consultation, you can even offer like some kind of discount. Although this like discounts and coupons is not the best kind of lead magnet, because most people who sign up for discounts only want to redeem the discount and are not necessarily interested in your content, but it's also a viable option. So lead magnet is basically something that you can offer to your audience for free, but the caveat is that they have to sign up to your email list. So now that we established that you will probably want to create your own lead magnet, maybe you even have one, maybe you even have your own ebook, or maybe you created a cool quiz or something that you can use. It's time to host it somewhere. So your lead magnet is going to need a place to live, and this place is a landing page. Landing page is different from a website. A website has multiple different types of contents are in the websites, right? So website usually have a blog, it has an about us section, it has maybe your online store, it has all kinds of things, and there are many ways a visitor can go through your website. But a landing page is different in that regard, that landing pages have one singular focus. So a landing page is a dedicated page that is just about promoting your lead magnet. Everything on your landing page should incentivize people to get access to your lead magnet and to sign up to your email list. So how should you create your landing page? You will need a few things. You will need some clear and compelling headlines that clearly communicate the value that your lead magnet is offering. You will need a strong call to action. These are basically buttons strategically placed on the landing page that allow the users or the visitors to take a specific action, like signing up for the webinar or downloading the ebook. It should go without saying that you should have a really compelling and persuasive copy. And you should use some engaging visuals, but you don't want to distract people too much. So you don't necessarily want to like overload the landing page with all kinds of GIFs and videos and whatnot. You want to keep it simple to really keep it focused on the main goal, and the main goal being people getting access to your lead magnet and signing up to your email list. It should go without saying that your landing page needs to be mobile optimized. Most of the people online are visiting websites from their mobiles, so this is an absolute must. And you obviously need a sign-up form on your landing page, which will allow people to sign up to your email list. This sign-up form should be really clear, and it should have limited number of form fields. So usually it's a name, an email address, and maybe you can ask for some additional third information, but it shouldn't be difficult for people to subscribe, right? You don't want to ask for like a dozen different questions on your sign-up form. You want to keep it as simple as possible to keep the whole process frictionless. So this is how a sign-up form looks like. This is actually the same sign-up form that you used to sign up for this very webinar. As you can see, it has a field for an email address, first name field, and the last name field, and that's it. It also has a strong call to action, this huge blue button with a register printed all over it. It also has a privacy assurance. So as you can see, at the bottom of the sign-up form, you can read about the privacy policy and the terms of use of Zero Bounce. So you are secure in the knowledge that your data is not going to be sold to some random third party, and it actually looks pretty nice. So yeah, this is a great example of a sign-up form. Now that we established that you need a lead magnet, you need a landing page, you need a sign-up form that people can use on your landing page. Now it's time to start driving traffic to your landing page. There are two main ways you can go about this. You can get traffic organically, and you can get traffic through paid advertising. Both of them have their own pros and cons. Organic traffic usually takes more time to build, but it's free. While paid traffic is usually, like, drives more instant results, but you have to allocate a separate budget for that. So what are some ways you can promote your landing page and your lead magnet organically? You can promote it on social media. You can, you should add it to all of your social media bios. You should ask your friends and family to do the same for you. You should post about it from your personal profiles. You should post about it from your business profiles. You can team up with other creators or like business partners of yours to promote this lead magnet that you created. You can even create additional content around your lead magnet. So for example, let's take this webinar as an example. Maybe if we use the recording as an on-demand webinar later on, we could create, as brands, we could create like TikTok videos with the snippets of the best advice from this webinar. We could post it all over on TikTok and Instagram Reels and maybe YouTube Shorts. And then people will find that, and then it will take them to the landing page of the on-demand webinar. You can also search the internet for relevant questions or forum discussions. You can try promoting your lead magnet there. If you also have your own website, for example, you can use pop-ups. When we run webinars at GetResponse, we regularly use pop-ups on the getresponse.com website. So when visitors visit certain pages, they will see the pop-up that, hey, we are running a webinar. This is where you can sign up. And that's going to take them to the landing page where they can sign up for the webinar, and then we get their email address. You can use SEO. You can create blog content. You can cross-promote it with other creators. That's another major one. So, for example, if you have like a business partner or some acquaintance who is also promoting their own lead magnet, then maybe you can agree to promote each other's content or promote each other's lead magnets. So you can be really creative with organic promotions. And if you want to use paid advertising, then you can use social media ads or display advertising. You can promote it on Facebook. You can promote it on Instagram, LinkedIn. These are all platforms that allow you to run paid ads. And these paid ads can direct people to your sign-up page, your landing page. You can advertise for certain keywords. So keeping the theme of this webinar, maybe after the webinar ends, we will run a Google keyword campaign for keywords like monetizing your email list. And this could take people to the registration page for the on-demand webinar. These are all just ideas, of course, but it will hopefully give you an idea of how you can go about organic and paid promotions. And now I think it's your turn, Brian, to talk about how you can make sure to not
we'll talk about how to mail these people.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah.
Once you get all of the contacts and you have the landing page, you're starting to build an email list. It's really important to not get too excited and try to mail too fast. There are a lot of things that we need to pay attention to, and we need to understand kind of what's going on with those emails before you just go crazy. So if you take away anything from me today, please focus on quality of the emails that are going onto your list, not quantity. Quantity is very easy to focus on. Quality is harder. please focus on that one. So in 2023, just through our platform alone, we've checked over 7 billion emails through our platform. Okay, so we see a ton of volume. We see a ton of different types of emails, and then we find all the edge cases, and we have an idea of what's going on. When email validation is something that would, check the email address to see if there's a recipient on the other end. So what we're able to do, and what people can do, is use a real-time API and check things at a time of sign up. So on the registration form, you can run a validation on that email address to see if the email is good or bad. What we're finding is about 1 out of 4 emails going through sign-up forms are bad. And that's crazy if you think about it. So why might it be bad, right? It might be a typo. It might be someone just smashed the keyboard to get past your gate, to get access to your coupon, download that white paper, whatever it might be. But the problem with that is that you then move that data into your CRM or your ESP, and you start sending to them, and you'll have some issues with that. What we're also finding is there's a decent amount of people or emails coming through that are spam traps. We'll talk more about those. Abuse emails, which might be emails that are known to mark you as spam. So not necessarily you, but they have known history of marking valid and compliant emails as spam instead of unsubscribing. And those are not good for your deliverability. So what you want to be doing is validating your list and making sure that you should understand the rate that your list will decay. And that's very different for everybody, is the truth. Whether if you're sending B2B mail, so if you sell to other businesses, or you're sending email to consumers, so end users or just buyers, this might be very different how the behavior of your list will change. Business emails, they're decaying much faster than the free email accounts like the Gmails, the AOLs. And for obvious reasons, businesses are closing, people are changing jobs, companies are changing, moving their domain. Maybe they switched a provider and finally cleaned up their internal email list when they did that. Or maybe they're just switching to a new email. We see actually a decent amount of, sometimes people just abandon their old email because it's full of junk and they're just sick of it. So they'll go get a new one, especially on the personal side. And so what you want to be able to do is validate that data and check to make sure it's a marketable contact. That's what it's going to come down to. Is this a marketable contact? When I send them mail, they should open it, engage with it, click through it, and ultimately convert based on what the goal of your campaign is. And so again, the best way to do this is catch it while they're submitting it. Okay. So if you're able to catch, for example, a bad email address that they are submitting through your sign up form, just think of the value of that. They're gone once they leave the page, right? But if you're able to block it and show them like, hey, this is a bad email, what this also gives you the ability to do is correct typos. So as Mate said, it's so important that your whole entire ecosystem is optimized for mobile. One of the biggest problems with mobile is typos. And so especially with email, and unless you're sophisticated, like I finally became after a few years and created my own little shortcut on my iPhone keyboard to paste my email, most people are not doing things like that. They are literally typing it out every single time. It's very common for typos to come in that way, especially if they're longer emails or long business domains. So use it at the point of collection, because you can fix it in real time with the user. Give them real-time feedback that email is bad or typoed. So use it for your newsletters, use it for your account registrations. E-commerce is a big one, because imagine you type in the wrong email address on accident while you're going to purchase your clothes or something you bought online. They're no longer getting the tracking updates. They're not getting any of your newsletter emails. They're going to think something's wrong. And by the way, it's a reflection to you back on the business, because they will not admit they did anything wrong. Of course, it's not my fault. I typed in my email. I don't get tracking. What is this website? These are important little things that, again, it's just hard to understand, the level that it can go to if you're getting a bad email address. You can't look up the account. They have to have the order number. But how would they have the order number if they didn't receive your email? Did they screenshot that checkout page? I highly doubt it. So there's a lot of complexities behind it, and that's why it's really important to make sure that you have an email address that's deliverable for people. As new contacts are going into your CRM, your ESP, validate it. There's so many. We're built in with almost all of the different types of tools out there to catch this data in real time. And I highly recommend you guys kind of take a look at it and check it out, and recover some of those typos and bad emails that you're getting. This is a little example. It's usually animated, but we had an issue here trying to stream the animation. This on the left-hand side is an example sign-up form. It can be anything. It's just a collection form, and it's just simply an example. So the left-hand side is the form. The right-hand side is validation taking place. And I know it's very small, but there's a typo on Gmail saying gmail.com, which again, very common. The N is right next to the M. People are flying through this when they type on the form and they submit it. What we did was we would catch that typo, and then up at the top, you'll see a tiny little red bar. We can even come back in and suggest that typo fix and do it in real time while the user's still on the form. Super valuable. You just went from having a bad email to a correct one, all without the user ever leaving the page. So it's very powerful, and this is just one small example of how you can do it. We have some very, very large brands that utilize this type of functionality on their websites and mobile apps. So especially the registrations of the mobile apps, because you can always get past that first step, right? It seems like you can always, if you make a password, you can get past that first step. But what about everything after? The email address is the unique identifier for what feels like at this point, every business. That's their central point for the entire life of that customer, is generally around the email address, not name, certainly not name. And phone number, I don't even know, many people are not even collecting those anymore. So just make sure you're getting a good email address while the user's still on the page. It's important and can be done even if they're making mistakes. So, going through and being able to validate the list, not all email addresses can be validated with complete certainty. There are some complexity to it. There's some business emails that are set up under catch-all domains. And this is, again, because they're designed to, basically have a routing system for the email addresses of maybe old employees who have left. And think about all of us. We've all had a previous position somewhere with a previous email somewhere. Well, what happened when you left? A lot of people don't ever think about that. I'm in operations. I think about this because I actually have to do that work. They either route, or it's like, nope, I don't want any of this, and we'll bounce the emails. Or again, they'll route to either hopefully a good person, like the new intentional person of that replacement, or if the worst case is that it goes to somebody else, random, and they mark you as spam. That's the worst case scenario. And so you don't want that either. In the kind of a bigger topic in the last couple of years, and certainly still relevant and really a big problem, is a lot of these Verizon email addresses. So everything under the Verizon suite, Yahoo, AOL, there's a lot of accounts that are sitting in this disabled status, and they're very hard to validate them because by definition, they still exist. If the user logs back in, they will get access to their inbox. But if you try to send mail to it, it says the account's disabled. And what they are attempting to do is recycle these emails and reuse them, like open back up the prefix or the handle. I'm not sure what you even call that anymore. The prefix of the email, because they started to lose the ability for customers to create them. The problem is they're bouncing. They're affecting your deliverability, and they're affecting your email reputation, your sending reputation. So a lot of bounces equals bad sending reputation, which then brings down your trust with the mail servers, which then makes them have to consider spam folder or inbox for you. You don't ever want them to think of that. You don't ever want these spam filters to try to put you in the place where they need to make a decision on who you are. You want to be a good, clean sender. So you need good, clean emails to do that. We do have kind of a detection system for those kind of, I'm going to call them pesky AOL emails, because it's really exactly what they are. We can catch those now. We've released a new product here earlier this year, and we'll get rid of them. It's a free service. Anyone who has potentially a lot of old AOL or Yahoo data, please, by all means, bring it over to us, and we can clean that all up, especially if you've had problems and you don't know what to do with it. We can clean it up. scoring emails is another thing that can be very powerful for you, just depending upon potentially your use case. So we like to use it, and we kind of guide a lot of our users towards doing that on the catch-all emails, because there is a portion of those emails that are good. They are legitimate emails that people want to receive the mail they signed up for. They just pose some risk. And so a way to get around that risk and create separation between the risky and less risky is to score them. And so you can run them through a scoring system, and basically you're looking for activity. We're looking to see if something's happening with this. We're looking to see if we're getting signals, whatever it might be. You know, the team's come up with some pretty crazy algorithms to figure out, is this a good email or not? And even prior to this, Mate, thanks, I'm just going to say it, you know, he even gave us feedback saying, I used the catch-all list scoring, and it was really helpful in kind of accomplishing what to do with these emails, because they are, again, they're risky. You just don't know what will happen. So score them, and you can get an idea as to kind of what's going on, and then use the ones that are high scored. It's pretty obvious. They're good to go. Send to them. You should be fine. Perhaps the smaller ones or the lower quality scores, you either A, might not want to send to them at all if you never have, or they're very old, or B, you might want to kind of segment and walk down the score until you get to a point where you're uncomfortable with the bounce rate and you should abandon them. We recommend 9s and 10s. They're pretty promising. You shouldn't have any issues, but lower, pose some risk. Another one that you can do to kind of highlight the emails that might be very active. So activity data, or signals, if you want to think of them that way, is another way to gain insight on the emails on your list. And the reason that this one is super important is because ultimately what gives you great deliverability is engagement when you send mail, okay? So if you send, you know, 1,000 emails and you get 0 opens, and you get 0, that hopefully that's never happened to anybody, because that's really bad. But if you're not getting those positive signals, which by the way are opens, clicks, forwards, even unsubscribes, by the way, it's still considered a positive signal because they are clicking your link. What's not a positive signal is marking as spam, these type of things. Like report spam, that's the worst signal that you can get on the mail that you're sending. And so what we have is the ability to kind of detect this before you've ever even sent an email to them. So we've aggregated billions of signals and then make them available to you to do a match against. So you have to come to us with the data, but we can append it and let you know if this email address has been active in, you know, less than 30 days, less than 60 days, 90, 180. And, you know, it kind of goes up over time. And obviously, the higher up that number is going, the higher, you know, chance of it being a less active email. And particularly, you might actually even want to remove people. If we don't have a signal in over a year, that email is probably abandoned. And so that would be a good way to kind of understand that. And again, create segmentation with your list for that. So there's the strongest campaign you can send is a piece of your giant list that has valid, active, high scored emails. That engagement rate will be super powerful. You'll build a lot of reputation for yourself. And then you can work slowly down the other parts of the email list until you get problems. You know, you get to a point where the issues occur, such as, you know, spam rates or bounce rates start to creep up a tiny bit. You don't want that. So that's when you need to stop. But you can definitely go and find, you know, through tools, the ability to find the emails on your list that are more likely to engage with you and give you those kind of boosted points for your deliverability. So with that, I'll kick it back to you, Mate.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brian. And actually, just one additional thing that I wanted to add here is that, yeah, as Brian said, basically, it's not enough to, you know, like to get someone to type in their email address. You need to make sure that they type in their valid email address, and then you need to make sure that that email address remains active and operational and tied to the same person who registered to your email address in the first place. So yeah, and this goes back to keeping your email list healthy and keeping your email list compliant. And yeah, these are all like really important steps of maintaining a proper email list. So once you make sure that you know that the email list is the email is valid, that someone used to sign up to your list and to get your lead magnet, the next step in building your list is starting to engage your subscribers. You already have a few subscribers on your list thanks to your lead magnet. They are all real people using their real credentials. So it's time to start communicating with them. So the first step in this communication is going to be your welcome email. The welcome email is basically the first autoresponder that you send after someone subscribes to your email list. So, for example, let's take a look at this welcome email in the right here. This is a great example of a welcome email from the Hustle, which is a regular newsletter. When someone subscribes to them, they receive this welcome email. This greets them and sets the tone for the future communications. It also manages their expectations. So it's clearly stated that they will receive newsletters on every weekday at 7:30. It's also part of the email that you can actually customize your preferences, and you can let the creators in the newsletter know what kind of content you are interested in, so they would email you about those topics. So yeah, a great welcome email consists of a warm and personalized greeting, an introduction to what awaits your subscribers, and also an invitation for any kind of feedback or questions that they may have. And this welcome email should be sent like right after they sign up to your email list, just to make sure that that they actually read it and they remember why they sign up in the first place. But now that you sent your first email, your welcome email, it's time to start sending them regular newsletters. How you go about your newsletters is going to be entirely dependent on you and your strategy and what you want to achieve and how you want to go about this. So this is going to be you have to make the decisions on most aspects of your newsletter. But some best practices are sticking to a regular schedule. You want to ensure that your audience expects this newsletter from you at a given time and day. You want to tailor your content to your subscribers. This goes back to the example from the Hustle, where they ask for your preferences. So the more information you have on your subscribers, the better you can tailor your communication for them. You should provide educational, entertaining, and exclusive content to keep them sign up. Basically, like getting them signed up to your email list is only half of the battle, but you want to keep them on your list. You want to keep them engaged, and you want to keep them coming back for more. Based on your specific newsletter that you are sending, you should encourage actions from your readers by strategically placed CTA buttons. Again, you need to adhere to the local regulations, and it should be easy for your subscribers to change their preferences whenever they wish. And yeah, as I said, a good part of sending newsletter communications is making sure that your subscribers receive the type of emails that they want to receive. And this comes down to segmentation and targeting. So kind of think about this in a way that, let's say that you are running a clothing store. You don't want to send your latest collection of bikinis to your male audience, right? So you'd want to, at least in the base level, in this example, you want to segment based on gender. But like this is like a really surface level advice. There are a lot of data points that you can collect on your subscribers, and you can use these data points to further tailor your communications and to further segment your email list into smaller subsets. And this ensures that everyone receives the type of content that they subscribe for. And now, to the best part, I think a lot of you were waiting for this, how you can monetize your email list. So it's all good and well. You started building your email list. You have a few hundred or few thousand subscribers. It's time to make some money. So how you can go about this? There are many avenues that you can take to start monetizing your email list. And the first one is actually allowing sponsors to advertise with you. There are a lot of platforms where you can register as a newsletter creator, and then you can actually you don't even have to do pretty much anything because sponsors are going to contact you with offers for placing their content or placing their banners into your newsletters. Obviously, if you do this kind of sponsored content, the sponsorships should always align with your overall team or your niche. So if you are sending business newsletters, then maybe you would take sponsorships from coaches, for example, but you might not take sponsorships from I don't know, some completely unrelated products, right? So this is one thing. You can basically sell space in your newsletter to sponsors. You can also use affiliate marketing. You can find some affiliate programs in your niche and register for them. And then you will receive an affiliate link. And then you can use this affiliate link to promote the services or products of this affiliate partner of yours. So the best thing about this is that you literally don't have to spend any money to get started. So you don't have to invest in your own inventory, or you don't have to like build your own business. You can basically promote someone else's business and get a cut from all the sales that that you are bringing to this business. And a lot of GetResponse customers are actually doing this. A lot of very successful GetResponse customers are using affiliate marketing, and they don't have their own like dedicated business. Their business is doing affiliate marketing for other businesses, and it can be super lucrative. So this is also an option for you. Again, if you are doing any of these kinds of like promotional activities, you need to make sure that they are aligned with your audience's needs, audience's preferences. So it doesn't make sense to promote them something that is like really not fitting to your type of newsletter that you are sending out, or the type of content that you're producing. You can also monetize your newsletter by allowing people to pay for it. You can create a paid newsletter, and you can charge some kind of monthly fee to your subscribers in exchange for receiving your emails. It doesn't mean that you should get rid of your like free newsletter. You can have a free newsletter, and then you can have an exclusive paid newsletter, which is like, let's say like $3 a month. And people can also subscribe to that, and maybe they will receive the news a bit earlier than the free list. Maybe they will receive some additional background behind the scenes content that is not available for the free subscribers. So again, this is something that you can go for, and I'm going to spoil it a little bit. At GetResponse, we are actually working on something that will allow you to create paid newsletters, and it's going to be launched pretty soon. So stay tuned for that. Obviously, this goes without saying, you can sell your own products and services. If you have your own business, your own e-commerce store, you can use your newsletter to promote your own offerings. And through your newsletters, you can build a strong connection with your audience, a type of connection that is only available through email. And finally, you can accept donations. So if you are not in the money-making business, but you still need to pay the bills, and you just enjoy creating cool content for people, then you can still accept donations. You can register for platforms like Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee, and these would allow your subscribers to tip a few dollars every month for the great content that you are producing. So as you can see, there are many ways you can go about building your email list, and many ways you can go about monetizing your email list. The main thing is to stay compliant and to ensure that your list stays healthy throughout, and to have fun. Back to you, Brian.
Yeah, the have fun part, always good to keep in mind. So once you're sending the emails, what's next, the most important part, they have to have visibility in the inbox. You can see like some examples of, you'll see logos, and a lot of people are starting to, incorporate BIMI, which is the ability to have that logo shown. Nice headlines, things of this nature. You have to stand out. You can't just be another tick in the inbox. Try to stand out and take every measure possible to do that, okay? So that's another part of deliverability, because if people find your email because of the logo or whatever it might be and click it, it's to your advantage for many reasons. So making sure that we get good visibility into the inbox is important. And there's a lot of reasons, a lot of things that kind of come into that are very important. Some are technical. And so I'll talk a little bit about the technical stuff behind that. And especially with most everybody has heard, if not, Google, Yahoo have done a lot of changes earlier this year about enforcing DMARC and making sure that that's on your domain. And DMARC is basically a security tool that helps make sure that people are not spoofing your emails. And so it is now required, if you're sending more than 5,000 messages to Google and Yahoo. Microsoft hopped on board, which, by the way, when that happens, it's game over. This is industry standard pretty much at this point. If you don't have it, you should. And if you started it a long time ago, congrats, because you're the ones who actually got a lot of benefit out of it. DMARC policies now being on your domain are I would consider it required. Even if you don't send that amount, you should still have it, because it's also protecting your domain, which then protects your reputation. So for no reason other than to protect your reputation, DMARC should be there. DMARC works with two other elements. It's called SPF and DKIM. SPF is a list of IPs or domains or URLs that are basically allowed to send in your behalf. These are kind of records that you would get when you sign up for an ESP. They would ask you, hey, please add this SPF record to your DNS. And so you want to make sure that's done properly. And by the way, it's very common to mess this up. Okay, you cannot have more than one SPF record, for example. What you have to do is nest the different SPF records into one. Some people don't realize that, and it causes issues because your SPF record will fail. DKIM is another one. These are domain keys. There's a public key and a private key. The public key gets posted on your DNS. The private key is part of the send. And so what they're doing is matching those together. If that's working, cool. It's been authenticated by DKIM. The problem is if DKIM or SPF fails, then what happens? And that's what DMARC does. DMARC says, nope, send it to the spam folder, or block it completely because maybe this is a spoofer. If all of this aligned and you have a great DMARC policy that's also sending you reports because it's a monitoring system, it's going to give you a better deliverability capability because they're seeing that you're doing things as you should. So you have DMARC set up, you have SPF correct, and DKIM's correct. So these are some important technical things that you can do to make sure that your sending platform is set up properly. And if you've migrated anything with your mail over the last, certain amount of time, I guess it really doesn't matter how long ago you did it. You need to check it, because it's very common that the wrong person made that migration and didn't include tech. And that's when this breaks down. So tech has to be involved, or at least understanding of DNS. So DMARC, again, that's the policy that's doing it. BIMI is the one that I was mentioning before. That's becoming such a hot topic. People are talking about it. By the way, it's not new at all. It's been around for a very long time. But BIMI is again a certificate that you would get put on place, and it's going to give you the ability to certify and put your logo on the email itself up where it might show a profile photo. Instead, we're going to show the logo. I mean, you can put any image you want, but I would recommend the logo for brand awareness. And that's, again, a little tiny piece that might help some deliverability. The way that I also think about these, before I go into the block list, is that people ask me all the time, Brian, what's the biggest thing I should do? And it's, sure, validate the list. I can name 50 things. The concept that is important to understand is that it is not one thing that's going to make or break you. It is the sum of all things that you are doing combined will give you the impact you're looking for, okay? So we have to do multiple things, not just one. And we've talked about a lot of different ones here today. Another thing that can happen is you might be on blacklist or block list. And these are lists that are basically put together to kind of identify potential spammers, spoofers, security risks, anything of that nature. If you're on a blacklist, it means you probably have poor sending reputation and you're likely to get blocked by anybody using that blacklist. So, most people won't even know that they're on it. If you do, it's good that you know, but then what? You have to get yourself off. So you need a delisting capability. I highly recommend you guys set up monitors for this. Zero Bounce offers a free one where if you get put onto a blacklist, we'll notify you via email. Hey, you got put on this blacklist. We'll give you a link to go put in your domain and delist yourself. And then once you're delisted, we'll notify you that you were delisted. This is free and this can be very powerful. People don't realize the capabilities of what blacklists are happening and the fact that they're there. So there are basically traps or nets that are catching people based on their domain or their IP address. And shared IPs can be a problem, but that's a little bit more out of your control. But you can monitor your domain for sure, and you should at minimum. Warming up. This is another big thing. This can help a lot. And so if you're a new sender, you cannot just go out and blast a whole bunch of mail. This is not going to work. You are going to get thrown on every blacklist and you're going to basically get thrown into the spam folder because you're sending too much, too fast, with no history and no deliverability. So whether you have been sending for a long time and maybe have some poor deliverability or you have some negative signals that's been there, warm up can basically start sending emails on your behalf. So with Zero Bounce, you can do email warm up through us directly, where we're actually sending emails from your domain, opening them, clicking them, forwarding them, doing it on mobile, lots of different things. And we're sending positive mail signals back on your domain as a result of that. Or we can give you a seed list, you send emails to us and we'll do the same thing, but it's not automated to send because you have the control. You want to ramp up that domain sending. You can't just go and send 5,000 emails on a domain you purchased today. It's automatic. You're going to be in the spam folder or on the blacklist for sure. You have to warm up. You have to and we have guides around this. This can get complicated, but it's really important. And then once you're warm, stay warm. Keep sending, keep the reputation up, and keep things moving. Lastly, test. I can't say this enough. Test to make sure the SPF records are correct. Test to make sure that your configuration of the mail server is correct. Again, all of these are free services by Zero Bounce. That's how much we care about this. That's how important they are. Go for it. Send us a test. We'll analyze everything and understand if you have issues and highlight those issues for you. These are not watered down versions. They're full versions that will give you the insight as to what's going on and problems that you might have. Definitely get it set up and definitely check it out. For validation, I know many people here are already using Zero Bounce. We thank you guys. For anyone who might not, on the front of our website, you can upload a list and we'll give you a quick valuation of that list for free. So we'll tell you the approximate bounce rate, the amount of people that are known to mark you as spam, or if you want to get insights directly on a specific email, type in a single email and we'll give you the results on that. So let's validate, make sure you're checking for configuration issues and all these other items. With Zero Bounce, again, we give a ton of stuff out here for free as part of our freemium offer. Our goal is to be everywhere and we want to help everybody. That's really what we do. And so we give a lot of free tools out. Highly recommend you take advantage of them. And I'm starting to speed up here because I see some good questions and I want to make sure we get a chance to do that. Zero Bounce and GetResponse do have an integration with Zapier. And so you can kind of just go to the website and then that link or go to our integrations tab And you can kind of say all new contacts going into get response, validate them with zero bounce, and then post those results back into get response. Super powerful, and it's a way to automate basically everything if you're a get response user as well. And with that, we'll put up kind of a free promotion for anybody who's here. And then Paul, if you would like, please by all means, I think we'd like to do some Q&A. And I saw somebody from Boca. Hi, Deborah. Same with me.
All right, sounds good. We have some great questions. Thank you all for joining us and asking such great questions. This first one is from K Chico. I have a question. What are your recommendations for how to handle an inherited email list that no one seems to remember if adequate permissions were granted?
Good one. You want to go for it, Mate, or you want me to?
It's actually a great question, and I think it touches on both of our areas of expertise. So I think you should start, and maybe I will add my 2 cents at the end.
Sure. So my opinion here, because this is actually very common, especially if it's blended into the rest of your database, by the way. So that's the big problem with people buying lists, or let's call it inherited. When you do that and then shove it all into your entire database, that's when you've made your whole database a problem. So if it's me, how I would handle it is I would certainly validate that data, because you have no clue as to what's going on with it. Validate it. I would only take the emails that are valid, and I would layer in that activity data that I mentioned. And if it's me and I'm really trying to get the permission, I might send them an email. Marketing would definitely have to hop in and give you the crafty wording to make sure that's properly done. But I would at minimum validate the data and potentially look to get them to engage with that and kind of get back on your list. Maybe it's a breakup type campaign. I'm not really sure. But what do you have here, Monte? Because I think that's the interesting part.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what I wanted to suggest. First, validating your email list, and then running a reconfirmation campaign. You have to be like super tactful about it, and you have to write a great marketing copy. But basically, a reconfirmation campaign is exactly for these kinds of scenarios where you are not sure if someone is still interested in staying in your email list. You don't remember when they gave permission, probably they don't remember either. So you send them an email saying that, hey, so you are on our email list, but we are not sure if you still want to receive content from us. So please, if you want to remain in the list, click on this button. If you don't click the button in let's say 5 days, then you will be automatically removed from the list. That's probably the best way you can go about this.
The next question, this is from Jess Pembroke. Our LinkedIn newsletter is growing significantly, but we don't have access to the subscribers to create an email list. Do you have any suggestions on how we can encourage those subscribers to join our email list?
Yeah, amazing question, Jess. Thank you for that. Yeah, I think based on your question, this is the exact scenario that could be resolved with creating a free lead magnet. So you already have your audience. You already have a following on LinkedIn. You just want to channel them into your own email list. So basically what I would do is I would create some kind of exclusive free content. You already have data on the preferences of your LinkedIn newsletter subscribers. So just kind of try to come up with an angle or some topic that would be really interesting for them. Just create some kind of gated content for that, and just promote it in your next few issues of your LinkedIn newsletter. And bam, you will have your own email list in no time.
Agreed.
All right. Another one from K Chico. What is your opinion on email list preference centers for if our customers only want one type or category of content to be sent to them?
Another great question. It depends on your strategy and your approach. So if you're if you are just getting started building your email list and like you are a 1 or 2 person operation, and you are only like kind of sending like maybe like weekly newsletters, but you don't really have the time to like send new different types of newsletters for like new product launches or like industry news. So if you are not sending many types of different newsletters, that's probably not going to be necessary for you. But if you are like an established brand with like tens of thousands of subscribers, and you are sending info about new product launches, you are sending info about purchases, or like you're sending info newsletters about sales that you are coming up. So you are sending multiple separate kind of newsletters. Yeah, you don't want to necessarily like bombard the same person with all of these kinds of different newsletter content. You want to allow them to kind of choose for themselves what kind of content they want to receive. But yeah, it depends on how many emails you send, and how big your list is, and what your like approach to your email marketing is.
To me, just a layer here is, I think this is great if you actually commit as the business. And so you have to, if you put up all these preferences and you're not ready for them, and you don't have content lined up, and you don't have a schedule ready for all these different preferences, I wouldn't do it. Now, just like you said, the bigger the brand, the more capable you are of doing that. So I certainly think it's a good thing. I do it. I certainly sign up for the things that I only want to get, but what's also happening is you're only sending me stuff I want, so I open it, versus maybe get frustrated one day because I'm like, oh, another email that doesn't relate to me, mark as spam or unsubscribe. So if you can do it and you can actually commit, I think it's a great idea.
This one's from Joe Ringer. How does using a service like Constant Contact or MailChimp change anything you covered today?
On the validation side, it's agnostic to any of the ways you send. So with Constant Contact and MailChimp, we have native integrations for those. But in regards to the mail service that you send, that does not change the quality of your data. That does not change the technical configuration. It still needs to be properly done. I mean, MailChimp and Constant Contact isn't writing your content and getting you signups. So to me, it's agnostic. All the content today is agnostic of which validation engine you use or which place you send the mail from. So to me, all of it is still very useful for you, Joe. I hope you did get some value out of it.
All right. I think that's all the questions. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And please get in touch if you have any questions. We're always here for you. Thank you, Brian, and thank you, Matej. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. You all have a great day.
Bye-bye.